Hello, everyone, as you come in. Hello, everybody. Let me just give a blanket hello and Shondo in the room. It's not anything you all did. I just. mm. So I've been working like you know, like it's 1820 and not 2020. I've just been working like dog hours, and so I've been off the grid for a while in terms of news and media and everything. Put a 27 in. I'm going to say a name, okay? Put a 27 in the chat if you're familiar with the name I'm going to say, okay? Can you not hear me? Okay. Um the name the name is Daniel Prude. Put a 27 in the chat if you're familiar with that name. If you know that name, Daniel Prude, I will put it in the chat. I haven't been on this soapbox in a while, in a couple weeks. I've tried to stay happy. I've tried to stay, jovial. I've tried to be comedic and happy. L Teddy 27. But I just watched the 15-minute body cam video and I am disturbed. Just disturbed. It did come out that the 7 officers have been suspended with pain. But the head of the police department, I'm going to get to the story for those of you who are not familiar. The head of the police department has said that they're going to sue the mayor because they feel like the officers did nothing wrong and that they followed training and protocol. And there's the problem. Put a bookmark on that. When I saw the video, it did say, do not click on this. It is disturbing. And I thought that I would be able to handle it. And I was not able. I was not ready. I really said, oh, I could handle it. I'm here for this. Was not ready. Was not ready at all. And I saw it was a full 15-minute video where from the time the officers first got to him to the time where they were carting him off in the gurney. So I saw the full, if all of it. So, for those not familiar, Daniel Prude is a black man. I believe he was 36, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody will fact check me on that. He's has mental health issues and concerns. The family called the police because he was having a mental episode. Um, he was found in the police um, he was found by the police, excuse me, in the streets, and he was fully naked, and you could see that it was that there was snow flurries and things. It was extremely cold. Everybody around had on big jackets and everything. He is completely naked. And you can tell by the things that he's saying that he's having a mental episode. At one point, it almost sounds like it's a the part that is so horrifying is throughout this mental episode, it sounds as if he's praying or trying to pray. Every so many phrases, he was, he would stick in there. Um, I think something like, I pray this in the name of Jesus, or something like that, something to that effect, where it sounded like it was the end of a prayer. And then he would say all of these erratic statements, none of them kind of, going together or making sense. And this happened in Rochester, New York. Anyway, the family knew he was having a mental episode. They called the police. The police find him in the streets. He's butt naked. The police tell him to lay on the ground. He complies. He lays on the ground. They say, put your hands behind you. He puts his hand behind them. They handcuff him. He's handcuffed. He's laying on the ground. And so clearly, if he's naked, there's no weapon that he can, there's no threat of anything. And he's having this mental episode, going on and on and on and on. And like I said, the terrifying part of it is, every so often, if you watch the entirety of him speaking, every so many phrases, he sticks in this same phrase over and over and over, where it sounds like it's the end of a prayer. And it almost sounds like he's praying. It almost sounds like he's praying. And he's having a mental episode. It's clear. The police officers are standing around. They're joking, this, that, and the third. He's clearly of no threat to them. He's handcuffed. He's on the ground. I guess at some point they were waiting for paramedics or whoever was to come out, because clearly, the body can start to experience levels of hypothermia, because it's probably below 32 and he's butt naked. So the ambulance had been called, but the ambulance is taking some time. And at some point, they put a bag on his head. And he's still yelling these erratic statements. And every couple of statements, he would say that same phrase, which, like I said, it sounds like he's praying, like at the end of a prayer. And at some point, he stops. He's on the ground. One officer has his foot in his back. The other one has the foot around the neck area. And then the paramedics come up. And then you don't hear him anymore. And then you hear one of the officers saying, is he vomiting? What is that coming out of his mouth? And he says it's just all white water, all white stuff. And the ambulance comes, the ambulance comes. They do no treatment on him. The ambulance comes and they're just like, it's business as usual. Y'all got this. It's not until he's unresponsive that one of the officers says, is his arm moving? Is he still having chest compressions? And he's not. That one of the officers calls the ambulance lady over there. The ambulance lady then says, oh, he's probably on PCP or something like that. This is not on you all. That's common. I bet that's what it is. Something to that effect, that she thought he was on some drugs. And saying, oh, this is not on you all at all. You all are fine. And he's unresponsive. And then she gives a call to give CPR. on him because she was like, oh, he probably coded because of the drugs. And they proceed to do CPR. Now, we later find out that, I mean, if you got a bag on someone's head, it's hard to breathe, especially if somebody's yelling. But, and this is someone who's of no physical threat to you because they're handcuffed on the ground, butt naked. Now, we later find out he didn't die on the scene. They take him to the hospital where he's brain dead. And he died eventually about a week later. And the coroner ruled it a homicide, complications from its asphyxiation. This happened in March, before the George Floyd and everything. Okay, so all of this has been covered up and brushed under the rug since March. This first started to get news from what I can see this week. March was what, 6 months ago? Hey, everybody coming in the chat. The disturbing part to me is watching this go down and seeing, you know, a lot of times in these videos, you don't hear a lot of the banter between the officers. You'll see what happens and you'll see what's going on, but you don't hear the banter. There was definite banter between these officers. There was no concern for the well-being. They knew up front that there was mental health issues. Now, this man passed away. His family has been screaming holy hell. Hello to everybody coming in the chat. That no, the family has been speaking out against this since the beginning. It's not until the family recently got access to the body cam footage and they put the body cam footage out there and said somebody's got to do something about this. Now, there's a black female mayor. Hey, Lady Nika, thank you so much. There's a black female mayor in the city of Rochester, New York, okay? And she did a press conference, I think it might have been earlier this morning, saying that the 7 officers had been suspended and saying that there will be an investigation, but the investigation was above the city level, that all investigations involving police brutality and these things are directed to the New York State Attorney's Office. Hey, everybody, as you come in. Now, I know we here in YouTube get bogged down and get involved with a lot of fuck shit and fuckery, a lot of shit that does not matter. You understand what I'm saying? We get involved with a whole lot of stuff. We get involved with beef on the YouTube streets. We get involved with drama involving people on TV shows, musicians, artists, all kinds of fuck shit. Especially as Black people, we concern ourselves with a whole lot of things. But I said this a couple months ago, and I'm going to say it again. There's going to come a time that even us as YouTubers are going to have to stand up and speak out and continue to speak out and use our platforms. And we and say, just like I have to sometimes say, God damn it, YouTube, do what you got to do. Because y'all know I've had my whole lives shut down by YouTube mid-live simply because I was speaking on issues of race, or simply because I was speaking on issues of Black Lives Matter, or simply because I was speaking on issues against the policing and the profiling of Black people in these yet to be United States of America. And y'all have been here with me when they have shut my lives down mid-live. You've been here. But at a certain time, you got to say, well, do what you got to do. And I'll be right back. and we'll go live again. I will speak his name again. His name is Daniel Prude. This did not happen in the Bible Belt. And this did not happen in a red state. Mm-mm. This happened in New York, Rochester, New York. This happened in March, prior to George Floyd. It rings true to me because I'm going to give you a story that I experienced in my fair city, Miami Gardens, Florida, where I have a house. And I was home one night. It was 5 a.m. It was about 4 in the morning. And my neighbor across the street, she got about 6 boys. But one of her sons had mental illness. We knew it. The neighborhood knew it. She had called the police several times. The police were familiar with it. Her son, she called the police. Her son was having an episode. The police came. Her son was outside, same thing, butt naked. Her son had one of the brooms from inside of the house. And same thing happened. And you all have never heard this before. This happened maybe about 2000, I would say 15 or 16. Long story short, the police ended up shooting him. They were not prepared to deal with someone with a mental illness, even though the mom was calling the police for help. No thinking in her mind that she's calling the police for help, and yet she's going to end up having to bury her son at the hands of the police. The same police who had known that there was an issue. The same police who she had called before about the issue. You know, want to know what happened? Same thing. They brushed it under the rug. Police did what they need to do. Ain't no problem. I witnessed it. I ain't witnessed the shooting, but I remember hearing the shots. It woke me up. I came outside and I saw the police car right there on the corner because he had ran to the corner. And I saw the police car down there. And then I saw like 12 other police cars come around there. They roped it off and then they told us to go inside. I remember it vividly. The lady lived directly across the street from me. Her house is directly in front of mine on the corner. So it brought me back to that place. I remember the anguish in that lady and watching her grieve her son. And now I'm looking at this family and I don't know I'm almost skeptical about putting the site that I went to see the link, because the site had the full 15-minute video. It was quite disturbing. And I don't want to trigger anybody because it triggered me. But the point that I want to harp on is this. Not only, thank you, Regina, not only is the head of the police union in Rochester, New York, backing this situation, they are saying to the mayor, we're going to sue you for suspending them. They are saying, damn how y'all feel. They followed the protocol. Great. Your protocol is wrong. Let's be clear. These are the yet to be United States of America, the same United States of America who, when they started police forces, when police forces were started, remember, most of the country, before there was police forces, they had sheriff's office, and you had the sheriff of the town, and the sheriff would deputize citizens, and those citizens would then be able to make arrests because they were deputized by the sheriff. And that's why you have sheriff's deputies. I know, at least in the state of Florida, every county has to have a county sheriff's office, and that sheriff's office polices the whole county. However, when we had the advent of cities, you started to have cities. Let's go down history lane. Let's talk about history now. Those criminal justice majors can tell you. If you talk about history, history will. I wish my girl really be was here to give y'all a history lesson, but I'll give you a short history lesson. When they started policing police forces came all because of race. Police forces did not come to arrest you because of crimes initially. They came simply because they wanted the streets clean. They did not want Black people in areas making the land value go down. When people moved to cities, it was said that you had amassed an amount of money. You were coming from wealth. And so you were able to live in these metropolitan areas. And the urban and inside metropolitan areas were areas where people had money, people had nice jobs. They could work at in high rises and things like that because they had gone to school and amassed degrees and amassed a certain amount of wealth and came from wealth. So they could build these high rise buildings. They could have these big monumental homes and form these metropolitan areas. And so the land values were high. And so police forces came initially because it was to police the streets, meaning to keep people who did not belong there in the streets, off the streets, I should say. And if you go back and look at the written protocols and standards, excuse me, if you go back and look at at some of the initial protocols and standards for policing, it stated if you see African Americans on the streets loitering or even walking the streets, you go and you either remove them from that area or you ask them, where are you going? Do you have paperwork to be here? And that ended up becoming the segue into sundown towns. That segued into that. So when we talk about protocols and police following what's being told to them, we're not here for that. That's the whole point of the whole movement. You people have been taught wrong. You're teaching it wrong. You're teaching people to profile. You're teaching people to kill. You're not teaching people to do the right thing. Let's be clear. Because the right thing, I would love for the great police department of Rochester, New York, to show me the medical backing that they have that says that when you detain someone in handcuffs, that it is of good sound medical judgment for you to put a bag over their head so as to cause them not to be able to breathe. Because before you tell me that you put things into place, before you put protocols in place, you need to have some medical backing. And last time I checked, police officers, most of them don't have to get medical degrees in order to become a police officer. Many of whom, let's be clear, a lot of them haven't even gone to college, have a high school degree. And for all I know, they could have poor grades in science. So I don't look to them to be medical experts and be able to deem what is sound judgment when you're talking about dealing with livelihoods. So the whole inception or concept of a police force is founded in racism, founded in profiling. That is why whenever you see Black people in the neighborhood, what is the first question they're asked? What are you doing here? What is the first assumption? You don't belong here. Because Black is seen as dirty. And if you have a Black person on your streets, you have depreciated the land value. It's the whole metaphor, one drop of chocolate in the white milk. So, back to what we're talking about. Last time I checked, in order to become a police officer now, y'all fact check me, please, because I'm just calling it as I season it. I might be wrong. We may have law enforcement in here. If you have to become a police officer, have you taken psychological training on psychology and psychological medicine and mental health? Do you all have training on how to deal with mental health issues? And if you tell me you have training, which Rochester Police is telling me, and you tell me that that training involves you putting a bag around someone's head, I'm telling you, you need to go back and relook at your training. You need to rethink all of that. But here's the thing. How are we going to hear about this? Are they going to speak the name Daniel Prude? Are you going to hear that name? I'm going to. I will put the because I know some people are going to want to have it, so I will put the link in the chat. Where I was able to see the full video. It is disturbing. Do not click the link if you are easily triggered. Do not watch the entirety of the video if you are triggered. I'm just saying. It's time to rethink all of this. The problem is, here's the problem. The problem is there's never going to be the acknowledgement by the people descended from the Caucasus Mountains that what they put in place and what they did was wrong and flawed from its inception. You're never going to get them to admit that. The entire thing is wrong and flawed. That's the first problem. The second problem is, even if by some miraculous, power, we get, them to admit that, okay, we got it wrong. Let's change it. How much of that same police force, I don't care if they white, black, blue, or purple, are going to say, I've been doing this this way for how many years? I ain't changing now. How many? Let's think about this, because then I can already tell you what the excuses are going to be. Well, the police force, they're not as apt to, or they're not okay with changing how they do things. And we can't go and fire the whole police force, because then who will we have to police the streets? And it becomes a numbers game. And we got to try and save as many police officers as we can. And these men have put years and years and years into the system, and we need to honor them for their service. Frankly, some of them don't need to be honored for their service. You know what? It's one of the old sayings, and this is going to step on some toes. You know how you heard some of the old people say, I've been on this earth how long, and I have experience, and you need to listen to me just because I'm older and I know it the right way. Just because you've been here a long time don't mean you've been doing something the right way. Just because you've been doing something a long time does not mean that you've been doing it correctly. You could have been doing it wrong the whole time. The entire time. The whole, if it's broke, don't fix it. It's broken. It was never whole. It was never fixed. It started off from its inception being broken. And then what ends up happening is we have to see countless and countless and countless numbers of atrocities. Countless and countless numbers of, and when are we going to call it what it is? Let's call it what it is. See, the United States of America is very anthropomorphic. We never want to see ourselves like some of the other countries around the world. First world, third world. We see ourselves as the city on the hill, and everybody bows down to these yet to be United States of America. And nobody can have a better system in society than us. That's how anthropomorphic we are. So anthropomorphic that at this juncture, you will never hear media or anyone else mention the word that this really is. You want to know what's going on right now? Genocide. Let's call it what it is. This is genocide. Clear, point blank genocide. That's what it is. But they would never use that term genocide. They love to talk about countries like Germany, Rwanda, even China, North Korea, and a lot of countries that have um um that have had genocides of their own. But us in this country, oh, we'd never call what we do genocide. Oh no, not America. That's why they would devote a whole long month to talking about all that Hitler did and all of the atrocities that happened to the Jews. But we ain't spending that kind of time talking about what we did to black people. We definitely ain't spending that amount of time talking about what we did to the Native Americans. Nope, we ain't doing that. Mm-mm. 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 Nope. It's genocide. And they're okay with it. And I'm going to tell you what ends up happening. Let's be clear. Even when we talk about the media, who likes to deem themselves oh so liberal and oh so understanding of all of these things, the media does not care until we burn shit down. Then that's when they come. Let's be clear. They don't care. They don't care. You want to know why they come when we burn stuff down? Because it's great news coverage. Even Martin Luther King knew that the media is not going to care until there's something that is going to give them great ratings, which is why they didn't make a whole lot of movement in the civil rights era until they started putting kids in the line of fire and putting kids behind in front of the water hoses and putting kids in front of the dogs. Then they knew that would get the media. The whole thing with John Lewis and Bloody Sunday, those were teenagers and young 20-year-olds. Those were young people. Salaciousness. The media is only here for salaciousness. They're only here for the fuck shit and fuckery and the drama. But I saw this today and I said to myself, this happened 6 months ago. And we're just hearing about this now. These people are still being paid by the city of Rochester, New York. Sure, they've been suspended, but they are still being paid. This man's life has been taken. And the police were called to help this situation. Family was at their wits' end. They didn't know what to do. The family was called. The family called the police. And the police were told my brother has a mental illness. And after that, hold on, y'all. And after that, after the police were told they had a mental illness, they were supposed to go and help the situation. And then the brother ends up in the hospital, and a week later, he's dead. And they have no clue why their brother is dead. No, they didn't even know the part about the bag being over his head. They knew none of that until the autopsy came out from the coroner's office. They knew about the choke, and they still didn't even know about the bag. They just knew it was choking, and so they probably started to think, well, maybe he choked at the hospital. Well, maybe he something happened at the hospital. Not until the body cam videos came out that they realized, oh, y'all choked him before he even got to the hospital. And the police officers, the police union is saying, we did it and we'll do it again. All right, yes, bitch. The police officers are saying, we did it and we'll do it again. A mess. A mess. A whole mess. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And if it's not a call to action to anybody with a platform to say enough is enough, to anybody with a platform, we remember, if you all remember, we did the test right here on my channel where I showed you all that they were censoring statements and phrases involving Black Lives Matter, statements and phrases involving Black people. We did it right here in the chat. Put a 27 in the chat if you was here when we did it that Saturday, where I showed you that they were profiling us, that they were censoring us, that they were telling us that we can't talk about this. Yet they continue to let the people go all over the YouTube streets, doxing people. They continue to let people go all over the YouTube streets talking about fuckery and fuctitude. They continue to go all over the YouTube streets. And I mean, I don't know. Well, I shouldn't even say I don't know. I know exactly what it is. What it is the people descended from the Caucasus Mountains do not ever want it to be a level playing field. They always want to have the upper hand. They've always had the upper hand in this country, and they are never going to relinquish their privilege. They are never going to relinquish the ability to put someone else down, to be racist. They're never going to usurp that power and ability. This is genocide. And what'll end up happening is it'll be one of our own. See, people are not going to get, it's the NIMBY syndrome. You know what NIMBY is? NYMBY, not in my backyard. People don't get concerned until it happens to them. We're not gonna get concerned till it's somebody here on the YouTube platform that dies at the hand of this genocide that's going on. Other than that, people are just going to continue to go about life talking about fuck shit and fuckery, never address what's going on, never spend even 5 minutes talking about, hey y'all, let's stay in there, let's stay in the fight, let's stay positive, let's keep it moving, let's uplift each other, let's look out, let's go out and vote, let's go out and make sure we make a difference, and let's go out and stand up for what we know is right. Stop killing us. I ain't even telling you to devote a whole hour, or like I've done today, 41 minutes. I ain't telling you to do that. We have people who have platforms, large platforms, black people that use it for fuckery and fuck shit all the time. The upsetting part is you people watch them. Y'all watch them. Y'all super chat them. Y'all cash app them, which gives them the credence, which gives them the gumption and the go ahead to continue to do these things, and to continue to major on the minor and minor on the major. Let me say this again. These people major on the minor and minor on the major. And they do it because you tell them that's what you want. You go, you watch them all of the time. You praise them. You tell them, oh, we love you. You're great. Oh, here's Cash App. Oh, here's Super Chat. Oh, here's 14 comments under your video saying how great you are. And they've done nothing to uplift you. They've done nothing to advance the cause. They've done nothing that is going to outlive them. They've done nothing to sustain the race. They've done nothing to make even the slightest attempt to move the needle. But this is what we applaud. But this is what we reward. I'm not gonna lie, I was triggered. I was triggered when I saw the video. I was triggered. I couldn't even sit still. Saw the video, was like, oh. Daniel Prude is the man's name. Daniel Prude. His name should be spoken. A life taken. Senselessly. A mess. But yeah, it'll be business. As soon as I click off this live, I promise you, there'll be no shortage of people you can go watch that's going to entertain you with fuck shit and fuckery. But here's the sobering thing. What is that going to do, and how is that going to help you when you get that knock on the door? When you get that phone call about your loved one, when you get that knock on the door about your loved one, or dare I say it, when it's you seeing the blue lights behind you, not knowing if this is the last time, will they speak up then? No, they're not speaking up now. So why would they do it then? We cannot stay silent on these things. I'm not telling people to devote their whole channel to it, but I am saying at some point you do need to say some things. You shouldn't forever be silent. Every now and again, you do need to speak up about some of these things. I understand you all come to us to get away from some of this. And thank you. So I see you, Quintessential. Thank you for your super chat. You know, it take stream y'all a little bit of time. Thank you so much for your super chat, Quintessential. But we have to hold the people who we watch accountable at some point. Where are you giving your time? Where are you giving your dollars? Yes, I can laugh, I can kiki kaka and all of that stuff with you. But at the end of the day, where are you making a difference? What have you done? I'm just being real and honest today, y'all. I'm just speaking the truth. I was triggered. I had to chastise myself. And I'm someone who's spoken out against these issues on many occasions. Had whole videos shut down, had whole videos taken down by YouTube who told me, no, we don't like that video. It's not going to be put up. They didn't even tell me it wasn't going to be monetized. They told me we ain't going to even put this video out there no more. We shut it down. It has been taken down. And I know I've spoken up. But I even said to myself, you know, you've been real quiet on these issues lately, El Teddy. And I had to check myself. And I had to say, yeah, we got to do more. It is what it is. So I have to apologize to you all as my subscribers that I have not brought you more of these things and more of the brought more stories to light, more of the Daniel Prudes of the world. So you know these things are going on, speaking out more when people do things to us that we know they should not be doing. I'm not saying that it's going to be that it has to be 100% of what I do, but certainly keeping it, you know, always, you know, at the forefront of your mind and your memory. Hey, yeah, we can talk about that, but let me give you a little nugget. Hey, this is still going on. Don't forget, we still got to fight. So, yeah. Questions, comments, concerns, rude remarks. I say that in my class. I always say questions, comments, concerns, and rude remarks. Because sometimes you gotta let the rude remarks come out. But y'all, I watched that video. I put the link in. I'm not gonna put the link up again. You'll have to just, you know, watch again and scroll through and look for it. But it triggered me. I was incensed. I had said, oh, I'm gonna go on live today when I get off work, and I'm gonna talk about a little something. We'll kiki and we'll chat it up and talk about, you know, everything going on. And I watched that video and I watched it and was like spellbound, like I couldn't turn away. And the more I watched it, the more I became enraged. And yeah. 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 And then I coupled that with some of the beautiful depictions of ourselves and the reminders of where we've come from, like shows like Lovecraft Country this past week that gave us point after point after point. They just kept on hammering away at where we had been and what we came from, and lest we forget where we were, and lest we forget the atrocities that we had to go through. And the whole point of it being, you know, not just settling for what's happening to us, but forcing the issue and taking back what was stolen from us, taking back our sense of self, taking back our freaking culture, taking back our own lives. They've been killing us since this country was formed, and they're not going to stop if we continue to be silent. Do you know how much of American culture is influenced by Black people? The ungodly amount of American culture that is influenced by us. You want to talk about influence? We have way more influence than we give ourselves credit for, and we waste it. If every Black person across the fruited plains shut down all platforms, music, media of all form, music, radio, uh, television, uh, you name it, movies, sports, politics, medicine, first responders, education, every field of human endeavor in these yet to be United States. If we shut it down, it would cripple the country. That is a boycott. But they don't care because they know y'all gonna talk a good game. Y'all gonna go out there and protest. But we know right after the protest, we still gonna get y'all money. And as long as we can get y'all money, we good. We fine. Long as y'all can produce content for us that will help us make money, we good. We fine. And we gonna keep it moving. Anyway, I'm about done, y'all. I've been on here almost an hour. I hope y'all appreciate this talk today. I had to get this out. I was triggered, man. I I don't know if I should put the link. I'm not gonna put the link back in because I don't want to trigger anyone else. But his name is Daniel Prude, Prude. I put the link where you could go and watch the video if you see if you so choose to. But it's bad. It triggered me. I'm sorry. And like I said, I know y'all got there's a lot of other things that I could talk about. Um and a lot of other things that I could be going in on, but I saw that and I could not just sit back and say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go back to business." I was triggered. I could not just go to business as usual. I felt like the conversation needed to be had, and yeah. Anything for the good of the order. Anything. I wanted to speak his name because I felt like if I did not, if I had not heard the story of Daniel Prude until I saw that today, I feel like there were others who had not yet heard that story. And me having had firsthand experience with a similar story where police killed someone who they didn't know how to deal with his mental illness and was Black, I felt like you all needed to hear that as well. I felt like we need to be sometimes woke up. Being waking up isn't a comfortable experience. Most people wake up from an alarm. You never like the alarm. You're like, wait, why are you waking me up? Oh God, no, I was resting so well. So I hope y'all appreciate this live. I know it's not our normal live for a Friday, but I wanted to bring that to you. I wanted you all to have wanted to have this talk with you all so that you all could speak his name as well, and so that you all would know about it, and you could, put it on your Twitter or your Instagram and speak his name as well, so more people could talk about Daniel Prude and other names. And he's not the only names. There's a lot of other names. There may be names in your own respective cities that Really be, you might want to go back and listen to this whole live. This is your kind of live, really be. I'm sorry you weren't in here. This was your kind of live that I really needed you to be here and talk about. We went down the history of policing and all. We were talking about Daniel Prude and the fact that I just learned who he was today. And I saw the 15-minute video. And it's disheartening. It's triggering. And like I said, I have my own firsthand experiences with things like that. Something has to change. Something's got to give. And we should continue, like I said, to use our platforms to speak out against these things. Every now and again, in between the fuck shit and fuckery and fucktitude, in between the mess, every now and again, you need to be able to have a serious conversation and say, hey, we need to have a serious conversation. We need to talk. Let's talk about some of these things that's going on. Already, I'm not going to even try and monetize this video. Already, YouTube won't even let me. The fact they're going to go, even if I try to manually monetize it, they'll go and listen to what we're talking about and probably snatch it down. So I'm not going to even click the monetization button. I ain't going to even give them the chance to do that because I want the video to stay up as long as I can. So I ain't going to even snatch it. The only monetization will be the super chat that I got from Quintessential. Thank you so much, Quintessential. That'll be the monetization for this video. Because if I try to click the monetization button, they are going to, the bots are going to first listen to it and definitely take monetization off. And then if I put manual, try to have them manually listen to it to see if they'll monetize it, they're going to take the whole video down. So I'm not going to even do that. So yeah, and please do that for me. I send me an email, send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter or something, and let me know, because you may, like I said, you may have names in your own respective cities that we need to speak, stories that need to be brought to light, and given a platform where we can discuss it and have other people look into it so that it starts to grow legs and we can start to get these things out there, because it's only until we know about things and we see things that we can speak out on it. So please do that. So yeah, I hope you feel better, Nappy Child. Please feel better. I think that's all I got for y'all. Let's put some shadows in the chat. My Instagram should be scrolling across the bottom. So please thank you for being here. Thank you for being vocal, present, and active like always. Y'all know I love y'all. I love on y'all. And maybe I'll go live later tonight and be more jovial. But I could not watch that and not bring it to you like I felt it. Yeah. Let me put Shondo's in my own chat. Shondo, see y'all as we exit out. I'm sure my big sis really be. Are you going live? Are you going live, really be? I don't even know if she might have stepped out of the chat. I don't know. I don't know, but let me text her and see if she's going live. Hold on. Cause I definitely want y'all to go over and give a shout out to her. I just texted her. I wanted to see. Shouts out to those of you all in the comment section in my Lovecraft Country um review. I enjoyed. I really enjoyed this past episode, and I enjoyed doing a review. Took a lot out of me. I know I was like half faced the whole time, and I didn't feel like, but I felt like I put so much into that first take that I didn't feel like I couldn't redo it. Like I don't feel like it would have been the same had I redid it. If all of us do something to encourage, bring awareness, uplift, vote, volunteer, etc., you are doing something. Thank you, Regina. Thank you so much. You know, everybody always say one man can't change anything, but one man can influence some, and that influence can, trigger a whole group of people. So one man can. Yeah, yes, we need to drag everybody out there to vote. And please, let's just not think of the White House, but think of your governor's mansions. Think of your state legislature. Think of your city council or county commission or, your local mayor and so forth. Think of school board members, school board that you vote for, and all of these people that have influence directly on you. Educate yourselves now. We still got time. We still about 2 months away, so you still have time to educate yourselves and make sure that you are an informed voter. But vote, definitely, definitely. Also, if you live in a state, a lot of states are adopting drop off centers for the mail in ballots where you can drop off your vote somewhere where they'll actually have it where it's contactless, where they'll have like you can drive up, drop it in the little thing, and then you can drive off. And so utilize that if or do your mail in ballot. Please, yes, take the census, please. The census is important so that we are counted. Um, some people have said that the 2020 census is the census where Black people will know that the African American race will no longer, that the Black race will no longer be the largest minority. Some people have said that this is the census where we will be surpassed by the Latino or Hispanic race and ethnicity. I don't know, but that's what's being said. And if that happened, if Black people are not the largest minority, you know what that means? Our issues are going to be pushed even further into the background because then they're going to feel like they don't have to cater to us. Um, so, Amber, I'll save that for another live. I don't know that this is the right live to talk about that. We'll save that for another live. So, right, all this third party stuff. Listen, voting for a third party is, I hate to say it, but I hate to be that guy because I don't want to tell you how to vote. You vote how you want to vote. But I mean, if we're just being honest, sometimes voting that third party for at least for the presidential election. I ain't talking about for your local or state elections, but definitely for the presidential election. Sometimes voting for that third party is like throwing away your vote anyway. But I'll let that be. I'll save that to really be. Even though this election cycle 2012 is the first time I haven't been a delegate at the Democratic National Convention since 2004, because I was a delegate 2008, 2012, and 2016. I was there. I was a delegate casting my vote. So I do a lot of politics. I do know quite a bit. Anyway, if that's all, it's been an hour. It's been real. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for so much. Thank you, Quintessential. Thank you for your super chat. I did get that. Let me check and make sure. I don't think I got any cash apps. Oh, yes, I did. Thank you so much for the Cash App. You know who you are. It says for the real. Thank you. For the Cash App, you know who you are. I want to put your government name out there, but you know who you are. Thank you so much. For your Cash App. In the super chat. Until next time, I am here. I am L Teddy 27. Feel free to contact me. And send me information and I'll put it out there. We do have Sexy Saturday coming tomorrow. I might have to have a short Sexy Saturday. It depends on my schedule tomorrow. But hey, Belize. Yes. But if nothing else, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely.